Well, hi kids, and welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a quick product review. This was like a perfectly timed product. Either it was perfectly timed or the internet was listening to us, one or the other. As you know, we have gotten e-bikes recently for our time up here in the Black Hills. We've been riding them all over the place. The one thing though that we didn't have was a bike rack that would support our e-bikes. And it was not long after we ordered them, we got an email from the folks at OutfitR, and they asked us if we wanted to review their e-bike bike rack. Well, of course we wanted to review it. We don't have one. So that's what this video is going to be. It's going to be a quick review of their bike rack. I should mention that they are not paying us to do this review, but we are getting the bike rack for free. They sent it to us for free. All right, with that said, let's go get the box. We'll do a quick unboxing and go from there. So here's the box. It's not a giant box, but it does say on it, team lift for your safety. I'm like 6'4" and about 330. Does that make me a team? It's not crazy heavy. Pay no attention to the second camera on the tripod. You get to see a little bit about how the sausage gets made. All right, now that we're on the table, let's get our trusty box cutter. Start opening up. Thinking now that that's cut, should probably flip it the other way around. So let's flip her. It's probably a good thing that we flipped her around too, because now there's logo. All right, let's pop this top off. See what we got in the box. Instructions. I think we're gonna need a bigger table. It's packaged really well. Aha, that's what I was waiting for. That's gonna be all the nuts and bolts. Goodies, goodies, and more goodies. That's all the bits. Let me lay them out so you can have a full shot of what all of the bits look like. So there you go. That's all the pieces and parts. Here's what I'm gonna do, because I don't think putting this thing, watching me put all the bolts in this thing to put it together is going to be all that interesting. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it together. I'll maybe shoot a time lapse on it. And then while I'm putting it together, I'll overlay some of the key features of this bike rack. Sound like a plan? I think that's a plan. Let's do that. Supporting up to 100 pounds per bike, this rack is ideal for e-bikes and other heavy bicycles. It has a built-in ramp for easy loading and unloading. This reduces the need for heavy lifting and makes transporting your bike hassle-free. It features adjustable straps to fit bikes of varying lengths, and its ultra-wide wheel support can fit tires up to 5 inches wide. Constructed from high-quality aluminum, the rack weighs only 1/3 the weight of traditional alloy steel racks, making it easy to handle and install. And it comes with a 1-year warranty and a dedicated support team to address any concerns or issues. The bike rack's built out. It's installed on the back of the Brinkley. The assembly of it was pretty straightforward and easy. The instructions were easy to follow, so no real hassles there. Now it's time to figure out how easy it is to put bikes onto this rack. And we're a little extra challenged where the Brinkley is parked, because the sight kind of falls off to the back. So the rack's a little higher than it probably will be most of the time, but that'll be a good challenge just to see how easy it is to put the bikes up on the rack. So let's go do that. So it's kind of cool the way that the ramp is integrated into this whole bike rack. It basically just slides into the back of it. It has this little pin that you just unlock, pull out, and it is hooked here so you're not going to lose it. And then you just slide the whole rack out. It has a couple of ears on it, and they're going to set in these 2 little holes here. So we just drop that in, and there you go. Your ramp is set. So something that I found while I was just kind of test fitting the bikes on here is that these clamps that clamp to the bike itself, it's easier if you just remove these completely before you try to roll the bike up. So it's very simple. I'm just gonna unloosen that, pop them off. The same with this one. I'm gonna unloosen it and just pop it off. And then I'm gonna lay these down nice and flat, or this one as flat as it will go, because it kind of hits the ladder here a little bit. So I'll lay it as flat as it'll go. And now let's go get some bikes. I can't imagine how difficult it would be to try and lift e-bikes onto a rack. But with the ramp, the bike was actually quite easy to load up. Now that Tony's bike is up here, the first thing I need to do is fold these handlebars down, because there's not a lot of room between the back of the Brinkley and the handlebars, and I'm just afraid they're gonna hit. So the first thing that I need to do is unhook this, and then these handlebars will fold right down. It gives us all kinds of extra room between the bike and the back of the rig. So here is the seat post clamp. I do want you to notice, look at this. This is all rubber in here, so it's not going to scratch your bike up. We're hooking it to the seat post. You could also hook it to the frame of a smaller bike. It obviously will not fit around the big frame of this bike. So let's slide this down here, and we'll just bring this down to where it's lined up where I want it. And then we'll crank it down so that it's not going to move. And then we'll just slide this through. If you notice, there's a piece of rubber here too. So again, it's not going to scratch your seat post. And then we're just going to tighten that down. So to strap down the tires, we have this tire block. We're basically just going to push that up against the tire, lock it down so it's not going to move. And then again, we're going to place this strap through the spokes. Again, notice there's a piece of rubber here to protect things. And then push it through and ratchet it down. We'll just pull it and lock it down just like that. For the front tire, again, we just run it through the spokes. Make sure that rubber is up against the wheel so nothing gets scratched. And we'll just tighten it up. And that bike is not going anywhere. All right, let's go get my bike. But first, we have to move that ramp to the other side. So let's do that. Pull it off of this side, walk it around, and drop it on to this side. All right, lined up. This is gonna be fun because my bike is heavier and this is a lot steeper. All right, coming up. Front tire is up. Ooh, this is steep. Let's bring the back tire up. Oh, get back in that track. All right, walking it up. And then we'll get this front tire all the way in. Now, if you notice, I don't know how well you can see that. This is pretty wide, so if you have a fat tire bike, it's going to fit in there as well. All right, again, here's the mount. I'm going to slide that over the top. We'll get this adjusted where we want it. I think I'm going to put it down here on the part with the paint, the thicker part of the seat post. We'll tighten that down and then slide our ratchet in, pull it down. Now it's time to do the tires. Put it into that locking mechanism, and that's nice and locked down. It's going to slide it through, make sure that rubber is going to be on the rim, and strap it down. All right, the last thing that we need to do is to get our ramp and put it back into this slot here. We'll put our pin through and lock it. All right, there we go. These bikes are really stable and sturdy on here, and the whole rack itself really is not moving at all. This thing is pretty solid on there. So as you can see, there's plenty of room between the back of the Brinkley and the bikes, especially with this folded handlebar down. I'm gonna pull the rack off of the Brinkley. I wanna put it on the back of our pickup truck because I do wanna take it down the road a bit just to see what it's gonna do, how much it's gonna bounce around. I got it on the truck, but important tip. If you have a heavy duty truck with a 2.5-inch hitch receiver, you're gonna need a step down collar inside of the hitch receiver to take it down to a 2-inch receiver. So there you go. It's just a little piece of metal here that slides in, steps it down to a 2-inch. But there is one minor issue here. With the 2-inch receiver step down collar, there is a little bit of wobble in it. All right, let's load these bikes up on there and see how it's going to be a lot easier to get them up here because it's so much closer to the ground. Oh, this is so much easier. There we go. And drop it in. Crank that tight. Strap this tire in. Strap this down. Put our ramp back on. Let's go take a drive and see what it looks like bouncing down the road.
As I left the campsite on its gravel loop road, I was pleasantly surprised at the lack of wobble from the rack. I then headed down a city street and the rack was even more stable. Then I put it to the ultimate test of a bouncy dirt road. There was a little wobble, especially when we hit some deep potholes. Again, I think this wobble was coming from the step-down collar in our 2.5-inch receiver. But even after that bumpy road, the bikes were still solidly attached to the rack. So what do we think about the OutfitR 2-bike e-bike rack? Well, we've had it for a couple of weeks now. We've hauled the bikes around the Black Hills here. We've gotten a fair amount of use out of it. Let's touch on a couple of pros and cons. Let's start with a couple of cons. On our rig, the Brinkley, there is a rear storage area that kind of has like a trunk lid that opens up. When the bikes are on the rack, you can't open up that trunk, so there's no access to it. I wish that it would lay the bikes down backwards, maybe, 40, 45 degrees, so that you could get into that trunk. Not a deal killer for us. I don't keep any critical tools or anything in that space, so the only time I would have to access that space would be in a campsite and the bikes would already be off the rack. The other thing it doesn't do all that well with our rig, if you don't have bikes on it, you can fold it up. That doesn't work very well because the rack hits the ladder on our rig, so I can't get it all the way to be folded up. That's not a deal killer for us. If that's a deal killer for you, they do have an accessory called the Easy Swing Pro that will extend the bike rack out a little bit and will also allow you to kind of swinging gate open that bike rack with the bikes on them. So that's the cons. What about the pros? First and foremost, the ramp. That's a huge pro. It makes it so much easier to load these heavy e-bikes. Instead of having to lift them on, you can just roll them right onto the rack. The mounting system. I love the mounting system on this e-bike rack. The other racks that we've seen, they'll have a mounting system that has like a hook that comes down. It kind of like comes down over the frame and pulls the frame down onto the bike rack. That system just won't work for any bike that's a step-through bike, which mine is. There's no frame to pull it down on because it's a step-through. With it hooking to the seat post, that's a solid mount and it will work with any bike out there. And then lastly, on the pro side, the system is just really super solid. It doesn't move around a lot, especially on the back of the trailer when it's in that 2-inch hitch. I mean, there's no movement whatsoever on it. So if you're in the market for a bike rack, we can highly recommend this bike rack for you. I'm gonna put a link in the show notes below. I'll also put a QR code here to link you to it. And we do have a coupon code. That coupon code is ORS15, ORS15. That will get you $15 off of the purchase of the bike rack. It will also give us a small percentage of your purchase, which is a lovely way for y'all to support the channel. All right, that's it for this bike review. We'll see you on the next show.